Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Ball Over Passion. We are your boys. We got the full gang today. We got an entire tripod ready to go to discuss this. We've got an interesting game. It's got some distance from from past Premier League games. We've got the Premier League season, which, by the way, guys, don't worry, that is coming to you guys soon next week. So we haven't forgot about it. Don't worry. We're just going to do a little bit of a bigger one for you guys because we'll review the entire EPL season and kind of the last game in general, not just Arsenal, Everton, but everybody's last game. There were some moments there with City. Um, but today is the Champions League preview, something that I don't think has gotten much traction really online. Like, I don't know about you guys, but it seems to have been very quiet on the front of Champions League prop, so to speak. And you've got two teams now with European pedigree and heritage to the max. Like, what is going to be the battle really that's going to happen? I'm interested. I think both teams are kryptonite to each other. I think both managers are the complete opposite of each other, and yet you find themselves at really the peak and the pinnacle of European football. So it sets you up for a really good stage. So hope everyone's good in the chat. Much love. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Curran, mate, I'll go to you first. What do you make of really this Champions League kind of preview that's coming up? I'm kind of excited. It's got, I think, a lot of really cool tactical battles. I think it's got a really interesting perspective that really boils down to the midfield for me. I think that both teams have threats that will kill the other team. Both teams have ways to stop it, but ultimately, I think it's a matter of what midfield is available for Liverpool, both fitness wise. I know people are back. Both Thiago is back. Fabinho's fit. So midfield fitness for Liverpool versus maybe the stubbornness of Ancelotti. Like, what is Ancelotti going to do? Is he going to allow Camavinga to start from the top this time? Are we going to realize that the boy has saved you in every single knockout round? Or are you going to just let him play from the off? So, yeah, what do you make of kind of this game?
I mean, this game's very much a case where you have. I feel like there's going to be a battle of secondary weapons. It will be very much. I feel like both teams are so wary of the opposition's premier threats. So a Salah, Benzema. I feel like this is a massive game for Vinny Jr. I feel like he's got this ability to run in behind, especially with Trent there. I feel like Luis Diaz is going to be so pivotal in this game because his ability to cut inside, come a bit more central and shoot from range, as well as shoot from distance, as well as shoot from inside the box as well. It will be an interesting game to see how the secondary weapons will be utilized, because I feel like both teams are so cautious with how the main threats are looking. So Salah or Benzema. Um, I feel like obviously the midfield battle was going to be massive, and you've got two very different philosophies, i.e. from Ancelotti, who's very much sort of a balancer, organizer, sort of let his attackers have the freedom to do what they want, and coaches a defensive block quite well. I mean, I would say quite well, but like he has this ability to let his attackers attack. His block is, we've mentioned it before, that Christmas tree block, that 4-3-3 block, where it's sort of like you have to really use the width well. I feel like Salah, being wide, he has to stay wide. He can't cut inside because that's where the space is. There's a lot of different tactical battles going on in the midfield and in the front line. But for me, the major thing will be Vinny versus Trent, and Diaz versus Carvajal. I feel like those are the two main battles where you can where a game can turn and a goal can be produced from either team. And I don't think it'll be a very, very high scoring game. I don't see a 3-3 or a 2-2. I think it's a football heritage game. You have a 1-0 either way, and it's that very much will happen. I think the first goal will really, really be crucial in this. Get that first goal, get on the front foot, stomp your neck on some people's throats, and get into it. But the midfield is an interesting area for me, because I think, will Camavinga start? Will it be Henderson or Keita? I think we discussed off stream. It will be Keita. Thank you guys. Thanks for all the support, but I appreciate all of it. And for me, it's got to be Henderson. It'll be interesting because I feel like, I mean, you said it quite well off stream. I think the idea of Henderson is better than Henderson, the player itself. I think he's very much a player where you can look at him and see what he offers in terms of, on the pitch leadership, which you need in a final. A final is all about, Mourinho would say a final is about winning. It's not about playing. So you need those essential pieces to really push and understand how to manage a game. And I think Henderson will do that quite well. Even though I think Kate is probably the better player at this moment in time.
I think look, the biggest interesting is, we were saying it off stream, this is going to be a key tactical battle. Can, the Madrid midfield get Vinny Jr. the ball? Are they able to be compact enough to deal with the Liverpool press? Look, the Liverpool press is big, it's fervent, but Real Madrid are arguably the most technical team in the world. When you do look at it, they've shown it time and time again that despite not playing great, they have insane technique, and their consistency in technique is what allows them to kind of get out of jail free very easily. And so, with a very high press like that, even if you've got somebody like Henderson who really understands when to press and when not to press, I think that's the reason he's actually in. It's not so much his football quality, but it's what he offers off the ball. We kind of saw that with one of Liverpool's assistant coaches in the coach's voice. He was talking about how important, Henderson was to understanding when to press, when to sit. And I think that pressing trigger is really what allows
Yeah,
them to um, to kind of
yeah,
explode into the spaces as they like to do it. Now the thing is, can Liverpool keep the ball? Can Liverpool keep the ball into their half, and can they effectively defend that Vinny Junior transition? Because he's been probably behind Kylian Mbappe the best outlet in the world at this point. He's high voltage, high efficiency kind of player. This guy has got supreme technique. A really a 100 million pound player for me. Very very good player. And if you can kind of control that threat off the top with, again, Karim Benzema, who's in form, who can get you in and out of can get you in and out of trouble. I'll go to you, Chris. Like, what do you think is going to be the key here? Because I see a lot of kind of opposite questions with this Liverpool team and with the Madrid team. So you've got Liverpool that are going to be fit and hoping that they can keep possession kind of in the half, use Trent in the half spaces, and then you've got Madrid, who can they be actually technically secure enough and consistent enough to play out that press and then release Vinny Jr.? Because there's going to be space behind Trent. We know it. They know it. Does it get exploited? Like, what do you think the story of the game is going to go?
Yeah, it's gonna be every Champions League game pretty much. Vinicius has had a heavy involvement on whether they can get a goal or not, and pretty much every goal that those late Benzema goals that he's getting a lot of plaudits for, he's got a lot of the assists for them. And then versus Man City in the last round, he missed a lot. Him and Benzema just seemed to not want to score because they had more chances in that game than they had in other games, but they just wasted so many. So yeah, today will be about who can release their outlet better and who will be more effective when they get released. Because a 90-minute game, teams this good, both teams will get their chances. So which set of attackers? I don't know who's going to start right wing because he always changes it, but I assume it's going to be Valverde, Benzema, and Vinicius. So mainly Vinicius and Benzema versus Salah, Diaz, and Mane, which will probably be the front three for Liverpool. Who can take their chances better? Because obviously Diaz, he's averaging 4 shots a game, which is crazy. So he'll be the main threat offensively for Liverpool, and then for Real Madrid, they will look to get Vinicius on the ball and in 1v1s because most teams when they play, they try to get the left winger in 1v1 versus Trent, and if they do, he'll win more than he'll lose that duel.
Well, I think the tough thing is, can Real Madrid make use of their moments versus can Liverpool make use of their pressure, right?
Mm.
Because I think ultimately that this game is going to force turnovers. It's going to be a high emotion game, and it's ultimately who's going to have the most consistency and technique in the right moments. I don't. I think Liverpool have had like a really interesting transition this year. I think they've tried to become more Pep, ironically, more Manchester City. They've
More
looked to
technical, yeah.
kind of control possession high up the pitch a little bit more. They've looked to use their wings, but they don't use their fullbacks in the same way. Really, only Robertson is the one that provides width. But even now, if you've noticed, Robertson hasn't been as on bombing. They've had Diaz, who has, despite making a lot more shots, has been kind of ever present in holding the width for their team. Salah's a lot high and wider. They're putting their fullbacks a little bit inside, and they're trying to squeeze the center. And what we've seen with a lot of top teams this year, with using their fullbacks inside. And I just don't know if Real Madrid have the technical consistency to beat that press, because I think for me, if they're able to do it, we could see a case where you lose your head, you lose your structure. I can very much see a point where Real Madrid is really good on the counterattack. In fact, I think they're probably the best counterattacking side in the world right now, and it's mainly to do with Vinicius, but that kind of technical security behind is super important. And I think Camavinga is massive, guys. Like if Camavinga doesn't start, I would be
Which
much more
probably
in
won't.
favor.
Probably won't.
It probably was.
Which he probably won't. But I mean, legitimately, if I see the lineups and I see a Camavinga start, I have a lot more faith in Madrid than I do Liverpool. If it's the opposite, I actually think Liverpool will have a big thing. But this is kind of a good debate, really quickly. What do you guys think? Henderson or Naby Keita? I mean, really quickly, I'll go to Kern first. We kind of talked about this off stream a little bit. But who are you going with and why?
I'm going with Naby Keita. I just feel like he's got a better engine in him. He's got the ability to overlap as well as at a better ability than Henderson is. Henderson is very adept at it, but he hasn't got that physical ability at this level, at this stage in his career, that can do it consistently. I feel like Keita has the ability to crash the box as well. I feel like there's a real ability to understand where you can attain a goal with Naby Keita, and I think he's better in a duel than Henderson is. I think he's better in transition than Henderson is. I think that there's a better player at this moment in time. I don't think, obviously, he has another better career than Henderson, but at this moment in time, I would trust Naby Keita. But if I'm Jurgen Klopp, for me, it's Keita. But if I'm Jurgen Klopp, I go with Henderson because I know that on the pitch, that is my leader. I know that if in a final, you need your leaders on the pitch. So I can understand if he goes Henderson. I wouldn't, but I understand the reasoning.
Yeah, no, I hear it. I think for me personally, I think for what Liverpool want to do, Naby Keita is going to be more important. I think if you were looking at the Liverpool of old, Henderson is a lot more important, because this game, make no mistake about it, is going to be about controlled possession from Liverpool. It's not going to be about their press. The traditional portion of Liverpool with their press and the fervency of their European nights is not what's going to win them the game. It's going to be very, very efficient in using the possession that they have well. That and making sure that they can keep the ball, that they switch the ball really well. Make that Madrid backline move, because it can be got at the back. I don't think that's the same midfield without Camavinga. So if you don't have that, make them move. They don't like to move, so make them move. And Naby Keita, for me, is a dribbler. There was a really good question on Twitter that I was interacting with somebody earlier, where it was a kind of a case of if you had a game-changing passer of
United
of the
Ahmed.
ball. Sorry?
It's United Ahmed.
Yeah, he's a good friend of ours, and a
Mm.
United fan. We won't hold it against him, but if you had basically a game-changing long passer, but for me, I would have just inserted a game-changing passer, OP, versus a game-changing dribbler. Which do you prefer and why? And there's a big reason why Guardiola, despite everybody's assumption that he's a possession-based coach and stuff like that, always prefers the number one trait. He says this in interviews all the time, is dribbling. And I've talked about it on this channel a lot. It's why I say I want a ball carrying progressor, but dribblers break structure. If you have more dribblers in a team, it breaks your structure. It's a nightmare. It's a kryptonite to the opposition coach. For a possession-based team and kind of philosophy, you need a game-changing dribbler to move people outside your zones. If you've got a great passer, ultimately, if people stay inside their zone, you're able to block space effectively. The biggest thing is drawing people out of their zone, drawing them out so that you can open the space. And for me, that happens a lot easier from a game-changing dribbler, which is unpredictable. It's somebody that you can't really predict. Ultimately, quick switches of play They work well to isolate you 1v1, but you really need that dribbler to make use of exploiting that back line. So if you do the switch, great, you've got 1v1. Now you need the dribbler to make use of it. So it's great that you've got the overload, but the latter, I think, is what gives you that real punch. And so looking forward to this, that's the reason I would choose Naby Keita, though. I kind of bring those things up because look, Henderson at the most. Look, he's not great on the pitch right now, but he has been a great passer in the past. He did have great passing range, and I think they are very emblematic of each other. Where you've got really this decent passer, but a great dribbler into the press, versus somebody that's a very good off the ball specialist, but somebody that did switch play quite well. And by the way, make no mistake about it, if Henderson starts, look for that Diaz switch. That's something that he's going to try to spam every day this week. So um, I would definitely go with Naby Keita. I'll hand that over to you, Chris. What's your kind of opinion on that, Henderson or Naby Keita?
Probably Naby Keita, because obviously I like Henderson as a player, but he hasn't been good this season. He's played, but he hasn't played anywhere near the level he used to play at, even the season before this one. And Keita and Thiago have been a very good partnership because they've been different to anything Liverpool has had in the whole time they've been a good team again. Them two together, like the technical level that those two produce on the pitch at the same time is completely different to anything Klopp did the season or last season. So I'd put them two together. But the problem when those two are together is that they win less duels than they would with Henderson. Obviously, just naturally because he's a different player to Keita. And with them winning less duels, it would force them being on the ball a lot more. And if they mess up their possession, because they've been a lot more of a possession-based team, if they mess up the progression between the lines, because sometimes at the start of games, like very recently, you see they concede first a lot, like versus Wolves, versus Southampton. They keep conceding first because they're not controlling the transitions well enough without Henderson. And Fabinho hasn't been good either this season, or the latter part of the season. He hasn't been good either. So they've struggled to control transitions, which is a scary thing going into a final versus Real Madrid, because on form they've been poor. Despite winning games, Liverpool, on form they've been poor. So I'd get Keita, but there's a big risk to having him in this sort of game because it's so emotion based that at some points technique doesn't go out the window, but the physical battle may become more important. So it depends on what Klopp is going to value more. Will he value his experience and physicality, or will he try to dominate the game and do a pep approach in it, where you try to dominate possession and wear out your opponent?
Look, I'm always fearful of a club not doing what their roots are. When you really go back to it, what are Liverpool? What is Liverpool Football Club? I'm not a fan of them transitioning to a Pep. I guess I can kind of understand it. I don't agree. I think when a team and a club try to be something that they're not, it inevitably fails. And for me, ultimately, I think they have to go back to their tried and trusted dual experts, and they've got the wingers and the crazy dribblers up top, by the way. Liverpool can be what Madrid are this season. You know what I mean? Like this
Yeah,
idea that, Madrid are just the best counter-attacking side in the team and that Liverpool can't. Make no mistake about it, Liverpool can be that. They were that. It's what gave them their best success the earliest. And so I'm wondering if they fight fire with fire. Because ultimately, if they're going to try to control possession, they've shown that they're vulnerable, and I don't know if that's something that they should risk with this Madrid team because they, again, for me, are amongst the most um, technically consistent side in the build-up, at least.
but
Arsenal are pretty good, but Madrid, one of the best technical build-up sides. So the press
the
from
thing is, sorry
Liverpool,
to cut you off here, but the thing is, with them being so possession based and them trying to stretch teams out like City, which is the best team in the world at it, recently, like, against much worse teams than this Madrid side, they failed early in the game, not throughout the whole 90 minutes, but early in the game. They've taken too much time to up the tempo. So they start slow and then get killed in the counter. And the past two games, they've conceded a goal in the first 10 minutes. And they can't afford to concede first in the first 10 minutes versus Real Madrid in this type of environment in Paris. Obviously, Real Madrid have only really been dominant at home in the Champions League. They haven't been that good away from home. They lost to Sheriff, they lost to Chelsea, they lost to City. So they lost all these games at home. So we haven't seen them dominate a game away from home the whole of the Champions League. So you can't risk conceding in the first 10 minutes, which will be the issue if Klopp can get them to enter the game from the first whistle to be on a very high tempo. Otherwise, we're going to see a shaky Liverpool.
But you know what, mate? I am fearful, and we'll go to final thoughts kind of after this, but I am very fearful of. Do you guys remember the 2014 Champions League run with Dortmund versus Real Madrid? And that kind of semifinal tie where it was just back and forth, and you had a Dortmund side with Ruiz at his prompt. It was basically a Liverpool light versus Real Madrid. And in the end, the story happened. Everyone was saying there's no way Liverpool or Dortmund rather, much better footballing side. They've been more consistent this season, and Madrid just stepped up to the pitch and they made use of their transitions. They made use of the turnovers. They were just so clinical, and it's not as though that they did anything amazing. But this Madrid team, you can't understate it, guys. When you're looking back at the amount of Champions League finals and wins, and I'm one that really likes to focus on tactics, but you got to factor this in. These guys know how to win a Champions League. They really, really do. And for me, I think this is a Liverpool team still finding its identity and trying to become a possession-based team. That doesn't work great against a team who, by the way, know who they are. Madrid, make no mistake about it. Ancelotti knows, where he's at in this in this greater football fraternity. He knows he's not of the same ilk. He knows he's a little bit of a decade behind. But the one thing he does do is he does put his attackers in a position to thrive. And for me, sometimes football is that easy. And I'm just wondering, in a high emotion game with high emotion stakes, with players, by the way, we're looking at Diaz to be a really important factor. How many games of this magnitude has Diaz played?
None.
I'm not too sure.
He's played a Champions
No,
League.
seriously, none.
He's played a Champions League quarterfinal versus Chelsea.
Exactly. And if we're looking at your most important player to do that, I don't know. Vinny Jr., how often have Madrid relied on him both this season and the previous season? Countless times.
A lot, yeah.
Benzema. How many times have we asked Benzema to basically step up to the plate? Enough. That, for me, is going to be the difference. I think overall, Liverpool are generally a better team. I think in the moment, they win this game 8 or 9 times out of 10 if you were to replay it. And without the emotions and they were to really play it, I believe Liverpool are the better side. They should win. But I think that Madrid have too much technical consistency at the back, and they're just too efficient on the counter that I think Liverpool are going to give them chances. And I'm afraid it's early, like what you said, Chris, but also I'm afraid it's either side of intervals. So it's not just early, but Liverpool have been really slow after breaks in general. So if there's a long stoppage of play, they're very slow to up the tempo again. If it's after a halftime break, they're very slow. Injury time, whatever have you, they're very slow in the first 5 minutes. And I see that being a big factor, not just at the start of the game, but after the interval of the second half and any kind of big injury or stoppage. I think Madrid are going to be very, very quick and make them punish. So I'm actually going to go for a Madrid win. I think they do it again. And I won't be upset. I'm not going to lie. I don't know if I'd like a Liverpool Champions League, even though I think I said at the beginning of the season I had Liverpool winning it.
No, you said City.
Did I say City? It was one of those two because
there was an argument a couple of weeks, maybe a month or two ago, where current was always Man City winning it, and then before the semis, so before Liverpool, Villarreal, and City, Madrid, you said City is going to win it, and I said Liverpool's going to win it.
Yeah, do you still go with that? Do you think Liverpool?
I don't know, because the way I've seen them play recently scares me in the start of games, because they really reflect their emotions on their fans when the game starts. Because at the start of the game, you do your first cheer like 5 minutes before the game. Then after that, you're quiet. So for the first 10 minutes of the game, there's nothing really to scream or shout about. So until a goal is scored, that's when noise starts being made. And once the crowd gets going, and it's not Anfield either, where Liverpool are best. So once the crowd gets going, that's when Liverpool are really on it. But the crowd, But
So the main thing for me is just when will Eduardo Camavinga be introduced? If he starts, I believe Madrid win this. I think if he comes on and the game state is something where he has to drag the team like he did had to do against Chelsea, then we have a game on our hands. So I feel like it's very much going to be conducive to where and how Camavinga is introduced, because he's money. He's actual. He's. I think we've all agreed. I don't know. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. He is the best under 23 left centre mid prospect in a three in world football right now. Would either of you disagree with that?
I really like
I prefer
Bellingham.
him right centre mid.
Yeah, I prefer him on the right, but he's up there for one of the best 8 talents that you're gonna see. You know what it is? He with the story of this
No,
game.
not left, right. Sorry,
Yeah.
ignore me. Right side. Sorry.
Yeah, with Wright, yeah, 100%. But the thing is, what Camavinga offers you is the control in those turnover moments to make them count. That really is what it is. Because, look, Madrid have the technical consistency to beat the press, but I don't know if Casemiro. I don't know. Modric, he's still the guy is. I can't say enough about him. I think he's criminally underrated. By the way, he should go up there in one of the best midfielders of all time. Don't get me wrong, but right now he's just not somebody that's punchy enough with it. He still prefers to carry it, and I wonder who gives Vinny Jr. the ball early. Camavinga does, absolutely. So is Ancelotti brave enough to do it? I don't know, but I'm still going Madrid. Sorry, I think Chris, do you have a final answer? I saw a lot of splinters, but I didn't know if I saw an outcome.
With a game like this, like even with the in Liverpool have played 2 finals this season and they haven't scored in either of them. They've both been draws and then going to pens. So I don't trust them where they're not. I don't trust either team when they're not at home to get a lot of goals, which is the issue. Obviously, as you see, they scored 3 at the bridge. That's Real Madrid, but that's the only real time where they've. And obviously, they scored a goal at Man City, but they lost the game. I think both teams will score, and I hope it's not a boring 0-0 because that all the hype I've seen for it, like leading up to this, like
I have a feeling it could be. It could be.
Guys like Jamie Carragher reminding everyone the last time Liverpool beat Real Madrid in the final was in Paris, and all the stuff about Benzema. Oh, he's gonna win the Ballon d'Or if he wins it in his country, and all this stuff. So I just really don't know what. Let Karen go before me. Let Karen go.
I'll be quite clear. I see Liverpool winning this. I think it will be an extra time. I don't think there will be a goal. I think if there is a goal, then all bets are off. I think for me, I think it's going to be an awful game of football. I don't really see it being a classic. I think both teams need this a lot. I think with the quality of La Liga as it is and this kind of cakewalk that Madrid have had, they kind of need this Champions League a lot. It feels like they need, especially for some of the players and the narratives that they have, the Benzemas of the world, Cruz and Modric probably being their last dance. I think they need it. Could it be Mane's last game for Liverpool? He could be leaving. I mean, we'll be very interested in that narrative as well. Bale's last game for Madrid. You know what I mean? There's a lot of like narratives going in. I think both teams are going to be very nervous. I don't think there's going to be huge. I don't see a Liverpool City game. You know what I mean? Like a great game of football.
I don't like with the on that. I don't think any Liverpool City games have been great games of like technique or anything.
18-19.
That was 3 years ago.
Still, I'm just saying they've had some bloody classics.
The reason that I've made the preview, the story of the dribbler versus the passers, by the way, guys, is I think this is what's going to solve the game, and I can just see a Vinny Jr. dribble. Ultimately, I think
he's done it every game. That's how they. That's how they've really won. Apart from Man City,
first game really changes this game. If first goal really changes this game, I feel like it'll be
Man City's second leg.
Yeah,
every game he's been involved in pretty much every single goal. Versus Chelsea, he got 2 assists and he hit the post twice. So he's been integral. Obviously, Benzema gets all the plaudits because he's the one that's been scoring the goals and stuff. But those stuff like what you're talking about, the dribbling and the 1v1, I just hope for Liverpool's sake that he doesn't get caught 1v1 versus Trent too many times, because even Kyle Walker, it got to a point where he couldn't deal with him, and obviously he wasn't fully fit. But it gets to a point where players that good will always, even if you defend perfectly, they will get one chance, and you can't afford for them to get those chances.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. I think when you combine some of the intangibles here, that's going to be the story of the game for me. Now, look, Liverpool could totally prove me wrong here, and be good at control possession. They could, in fact, be the Pep that they want to be. They could, in fact, suffocate Madrid, and if they do, make no mistake about it, it'll be a long night for Madrid. But I just see some of these intangibles happening. This is possible to Mane, something that just we haven't quite talked about. The boy is leaving almost, and I just don't know, is his head totally in the game? Of course, you're going to be focused on the night and all that yada yada yada, but you are leaving to Bayern. I mean, I think that's pretty well known at this point, and I
It's
don't
the only reason
know
why I
how.
want Paul to win. It's the only reason I want Paul to win, because if Liverpool win, he's definitely off, and then
I'm literally like for me,
things happen.
I couldn't imagine being a fan of either team like in this. I'm never nervous.
I know
before
Liverpool
games.
fans, and they are shitting themselves right now. They're
I'm never nervous
nervous.
before any game. I haven't been nervous before a game in, I don't even remember the last time. So going into
That's
this game,
because you have a Rob Holding 5-4-1 block that is going to cancel out any kind of
even
pressure.
before,
No, let's not do this.
We're gonna go.
Let's just not do this.
even before
Let's not do this.
I was never like, for me as a neutral, I'm nervous because I don't want to sit there for pretty much 2 hours and it be a 0-0. That would be.
No, I'm watching this game with my mom. I can't have it be a ball fest. If we're sitting there for like 80 minutes and it's just complete dross, it's gonna be horrible, because I'm gonna get questions. Who's that guy? Who's this guy? I'm just like, no.
For me, like with Liverpool, obviously the quadruple talk was great, and then when it was 1-1 Liverpool Wolves and 2-0 Aston Villa, like my dad, Liverpool fan, wouldn't leave me alone, yeah. And then obviously Man City came back in 7 minutes, and I celebrated like how I celebrated when Crystal Palace equalized. No, when Lacazette equalized versus Crystal Palace 2-2.
Crystal Palace.
That's how I celebrate. So for me, I don't really want Liverpool to win, but I predicted Liverpool to win. So I'm going to go Liverpool 2-1. And I need both teams to score, and I think Benzema will score. And hopefully, for me, like it will be perfect if it's like a 94th minute winner, Mo Salah to score. Like that's perfection. Was I nervous for Baku? No, I wasn't.
What I need in my veins, very much so, is a quick Liverpool goal, and then I need like a Mane response. Not Salah.
You mean quick Madrid goal and then Mane response?
Sorry, yeah, a quick Madrid goal, a Mane response, and then I need Vinny Jr. to take the reins. And I
if
see
there's 2 early goals, it's going to be a transition galore.
Oh, and when it's like that, Madrid are going to kill it. And then Benzema's going to score. I think 3-1. I think it's going to turn into a really big emotional shit show.
There's no chance.
I think it'll be emotional, but I don't think it'll result in tons of goals. I think both teams will shit themselves. I'm going with Mane 117th minute 1-0. I'm not going
117th.
Yeah, 117th, 118th minute.
So annoyed.
No,
I'm sorry. I do not have high hopes for this game. You guys think the nerves will produce goals? I think the nerves will produce tons of mishits and misshots. And
the nerves will produce a nervy early start, and then someone will get a goal, and then it's over.
But I don't think that goal comes in regulation. I don't think it does.
Oh, I think it does.
There's no chance Benzema and Salah are going to go a 90-minute match and not score.
You know what it is, guys?
Yeah.
If you're betting it, these are the 2 teams in the world
both teams
I don't bet that can control a game when it goes to transitions. The only 2 teams in the world, okay? I don't think that they sit there and they go, okay, let's calm it down, let's pass them to death, let's U-shape pass. I don't see that from these teams. their gut instinct is to, in the words of our good friend Ari, push, push, push. Mentalidad. That's their aura. And so for me, it's gonna be a nervy one. I don't know if Salah's scoring. He's been in awful goal scoring form for a while now, since almost March. You're on mute, mate. I
Yeah, I just feel like as I said before, it'll be Virgil and Matip or Konate. I think it will be Matip on Benzema like anything. I feel like they'll be harassing him. It will be Vinny. If there's a goal in regulation from them, it will be Vinny, not Benzema for me.
I'm just
Both of them
telling
are
you,
scoring. I think like this how
You guys are so I'm for
This is
goals.
how the
I
game's
really
gonna
don't think
pan
there's
out.
goals. I'm
First
telling
10
you
minutes.
guys.
First 10 minutes.
First 10 minutes.
Wait. Benzema is gonna score a deflection goal. It's gonna hit Matip's left leg, and it's gonna go in because Matip is rubbish at blocking. So it's gonna Benzema. What's it called? Benzema. First 10 minutes. In fact, no, that's a lie. First 30 minutes, Benzema is gonna score. Then obviously Salah's gonna score, and I say Salah. Obviously Salah hasn't been in good form. He scored last game versus Wolves, and Salah in a final will turn up. Mane obviously scored versus City in the FA Cup semi, was it? FA Cup semi, yeah. Mane scored 2 goals. So he'll get
Imagine if it's Chelsea. Imagine if it's Chelsea Liverpool repeat. Just no goals, nothing
no chance.
for
No
120
chance.
minutes.
It can't happen again. They already had 2 finals with 0 goals and penalties.
but that's why, guys, I can't not count them. I know you guys are Pool. I'm Madrid. I really think
I'm only with Liverpool because I predicted that from the start of the season. That's the only reason, honestly. But
I'm with Liverpool. I'm with Liverpool because honestly, I'm horrible at predicting, and who knows
really
what will
quickly,
happen.
before we sign off, is anybody like this in terms of like representing the Premier League?
No, hell no.
Or as a neutral,
Screw 'em.
is anybody like
Screw 'em. I don't want them to get an extra
like that,
Champions League.
I couldn't care less.
Yeah,
Like, honestly,
for me,
nah, man. Look,
for me,
how would
I
I
don't
want?
mind. It's honestly the
we're
team
not.
that I
I'm
like
not. I'm
the
not
most.
competing with Madrid on a weekly basis. I'm competing with Liverpool on a weekly basis.
Madrid fans won't affect me. If Liverpool win it, they'll be like, oh, two Champions Leagues in 3 years. That's not it for me.
I'm actually the opposite. I don't really go league representation. I go which rival is going to hurt me the least. So if City were in the final, I wouldn't mind them winning it.
I would.
Cool.
I would 100%.
If City was playing like Liverpool United in a final, I'd want the other team to win. The reason is because we haven't won one, and I don't want to be to win it after City. That's the only reason.
Could be
100%.
Could be, but yeah, no, I hear it. I hear it. So guys, I think that's pretty much it. I just think the story is gonna be everyone's gonna be. It's happened again. Why did we doubt them? The inevitable Champions League team has won another one. I can just see it. There was that really funny video to just see that they were asking the Liverpool players who won the Champions League in 2014. Who won the Champions League in 2016?
Real Madrid, and Van Dijk was getting pissed off.
Oh, mate, and I was pissing myself.
Real Madrid reposted it.
Yeah.
Like, I just book it, people. Mane 117th. I'm telling you, this it's not going to be 1-0. Just in the extra time.
Hopefully, the best keeper in the world just turns up and it's a chance of like bare chances, but the keeper just kept saving.
Would you guys think these are the 2 best keepers in the world?
No. Alisson's the best.
Alisson's the best, yes, obviously. Yeah. But where does Courtois rank now?
He's top 3.
I have him 4th.
He's top 3. In this season on form, you have to. He's been incredible for Madrid. Incredible.
I just don't like his distribution. It's so inconsistent.
It's poor, but he's been incredible. Incredible.
So what's you guys' top 3?
Well,
Alisson's 1.
No, it's Alisson, Courtois, and the rest have been on form.
No. Alisson, and then what's his face? Mainan.
Oh,
Mainan is probably
he's been great this season.
Probably 2.
He's been good this season. Yeah, he's
no, but who is on the planet right now? I would have him as the second best goalkeeper, and then probably Mendy, even though he's been offered, and then probably Courtois.
Mendy's been too inconsistent for me. He had too many halves. I think Mainan probably had a better consistent performance. I'm probably with you. But and look, and Ederson as well. He's also been very patchy. So I
No,
don't
not
know. I
Ederson.
think
Hell no.
You guys don't have Neuer in your top three.
No, not this season.
It's between Neuer and Courtois for me for top 3. I think
No,
that is.
I can't. Not with how he's performed in the Champions League. I don't know about that. I think in the league, sure, but not in the champ. I
But
think
is it
Courtois
even a
is
league for them
Courtois is
anymore?
immense. It's not really a league, and but La Liga is also similarly uncompetitive. But it's just like knockouts for me.
Oblak has been
Not this year.
awful
Oblak, not this year.
Yeah, Oblak struggled this year, but
He was the best last season.
yeah. No, look, it's an interesting debate, but guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you guys enjoyed it. I really think that we're going to kind of have something where we go back to what we were saying earlier in the pod. So if you did have a chance, you can go back. This is going to be the story of the night for me. I'm sorry, lads. I think whoever can do
Always
this is going to win. This is the reason. I think the story of the preview, we're going to come back to it and say, yep, that was the reason. So thank you so much, guys. Look, we're going to do an all-season kind of Premier League review. We will do Everton. I know people have been asking me. I've been getting these DMs. What? No Everton review. Don't worry. It's coming. It'll
I
be
didn't even
next
watch the
week.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I didn't watch it either. I didn't watch it either. I was having my crisis. So
I was watching Man City and Liverpool dual screen that together. I was not watching the Everton game.
Okay, I'm not
like,
gonna lie.
if you followed me,
There's
yeah.
one person that did their homework on BoP, and
No, did you watch it back or did you watch it live?
No, I watched it live. I can't.
That's not homework then.
It's the boys. It's the boys. I can't not.
I watched the goals.
On the
I watched the goals, but I didn't.
I watched the highlights. Look, if you followed me, you know that I didn't watch a game of football from Newcastle until final with Roma. So it was that was a long time. So, but anyway.
Before we go, since we're on top of Europe, what did you make of the other European finals, so the Conference and the Europa League? So the Europa League final was Rangers Frankfurt 1-1, and then Frankfurt won on pens, and then Conference was final Roma. Roma scored and shot shot.
But ugly games, but didn't.
It's a Mourinho classic.
I thought Frankfurt were the clear favorites going in, and I think Roma was always going to rely on Tammy. He probably had the best chance of scoring out of the teams available. So for me, it didn't surprise me. And by the way, to shut up shop, that's Mourinho, mate. Like he tells you every time a final is not to play, it's to win.
As soon as the final whistle got blown, he just put his hand up like 5, and he just, because this is his 5th European trophy.
I hate that man with every fiber of my being.
I feel like I'm the only Arsenal fan who doesn't hate Mourinho. I do not hate.
I love Mourinho.
Yeah,
I do too.
You can't not respect the guy.
I think he's incredible what he's done.
Yeah, no.
But for me, that game was like, if you're going to talk, the one thing I recognize is that Malacia guy. I think he had a great game. I think he had some lovely shots.
Actually, this is
lovely passes.
We should talk about maybe in another pod. You guys in the comments, if you guys would like that championship content, that's something definitely that I know Chris would love to talk about. That's something that we could do definitely for a pod separately. If you guys really enjoy that stuff, you guys let us know. Let us know in the comments. If you guys enjoy a championship special, we could definitely do that, because I think it'll also be a really good thing for our loan players to look at too. Like, we can kind of investigate what teams are staying down. We can look at that kind of stuff. So you guys let us know in the comments if that's something that you want to kind of do as another pod. But I think it's that time, lads. We hope you guys have a great rest of the weekend and you enjoy the
championship final.
Exactly. It's tomorrow, so make sure you guys tune in. Maybe we'll do a pod. If we got enough support and we got enough comments asking for it, we'll definitely do one. But next week we've got the Premier League review coming up. Curran's got that, that special teams coming up. I did my homework, Curran. Don't worry, I watched it. So we will definitely be
you watched it. There we go.
Very soon. But thank you so much for the support, guys. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. You hit the bell for notifications to know that when we do upload. And we've got some stuff coming for you guys. The Academy. We've got an Academy special. Everybody loves those Academy specials. That's something to look forward to this summer. We're going to do a lot of transfer videos, which you guys love. I'm surprised no one asked us a transfer link in the comments. You guys are slacking. But we will do one. Don't worry. We'll do a.
We got a couple of Gnabry ones. I saw.
We got a couple. Yeah, we couldn't. I've polluted the ether. I have finally, my work here is done. But thank you so much, guys. You can catch us all on our socials. You know, myself at GeorgeV_AFC. Current mate, where can they find you?
And find me at current BoP.
There we go. And Chris, how about you, mate? Where can they find you? South London,
You
right?
can find me on Twitter, CK Football, shouting Brennan Johnson prop. I hope he comes to the Premier League. I need Forest to win. And what else do I talk about? And Steph Curry. That's my guy. That's it.
Interesting,
Jesus Christ.
interesting shout out. But guys, thank you so much for sticking with us. We hope you enjoy it. Be back next week. We got some exciting announcements coming up. Don't worry, we haven't gone anywhere. In fact, we're coming back strong. So thank you so much for sticking with us, and we will see you guys hopefully after Madrid 3, Liverpool 1. Thank you. See you later.
Hopefully not. No.